So in the schools, we're working to sort of target kids that have social emotional issues that are interfering with their learning. So if it's that they're homeless, or they're having problems concentrating, or they're, abusing drugs or alcohol, these are things that are obviously getting in the way of their learning. And so we work to try to connect them with services and resources. I would say that a typical day is that there's no typical. It can start out with a crisis in the morning. Typically when we're in the building, we're greeting students at the door, kind of assessing, do they have a proper winter coat on, and this kind of thing. And then as the day goes on, maybe getting calls about a student from a guidance counselor, or a student dropping into the office with a crisis, or being brought into my office by a teacher. So I would say there really isn't a typical day. I mean, that's a very good question. We do have, we have a large roster. We have 2 social workers in the building, basically. And so the population is divided in half. And, at any given time, fortunately, there aren't that many crises at one time. So we're able to manage it. And it helps that we have a sense of, which kids maybe need a little bit more support from us. I grew up with a handicapped brother, and I was always around social workers and physical therapists. And I believe that is what motivated me to become a social worker. And I've never looked back. I love it, and I can't imagine doing anything else. I love the population. I like working with young students. They're more malleable. They're open to ideas and suggestions and growing. And I find that the kids respond very well to someone who cares about them, someone who listens to them. I remember I had a student one day. I said, good morning. And he was coming in most mornings and getting water. And I said, good morning, how you doing? He said, Miss, why are you always so nice to me? And the thought I had was, wow. I mean, this kid, all I'm saying is good morning, how are you? How's your day going? And, this kid, this is something that he's lacked, that he sees this as I'm kind of going out of my way. So the kids are responsive if they know that you care about them and you want to help them. We don't have the eyes on when they come into the school. We can't assess, if they're falling asleep in class. We're missing a lot of what's going on with the students, and they're not faring well, to be honest. So yes, I think we need to be back in the building. Well, all of the electronic ways have been sort of the way we're living. Text, phone, email, parent, student, grandmother, whoever will respond, that's who we're reaching out to. It knows no limits except the number of phone numbers that we have or email addresses. So it's a completely different way of working, and not as good in my opinion. I do believe this will be the next pandemic, if it isn't already. Just vitamin D deficiency alone, with our students being in the house 24/7. Yes, I think there's a significant amount of students that are depressed and anxious, and have checked out. Many students have said to me, I can't do this online learning. It's very difficult. Many of them have not been able to make the adjustment. And ironically, many of them have asked, can I come back into the building, for in-person learning? Surprisingly, even students who were notorious. I had one girl tell me, Miss, you know how much I hated school. I'd rather be in the classroom. I can't learn this way. So it's shocking. It was shocking to hear her say that, but I understand at the same time. It's a very difficult way to learn. The student has to be much more active instead of passively kind of sitting in and taking the information in. Something that I've been thinking about is possibly doing groups around the pandemic, the fallout from the pandemic, how they got through the pandemic, sort of getting kids talking about it and seeing what their experience was. And obviously they've been robbed of a year of their high school education, and some of them their senior year, as we know. So there will be a lot to unpack, I'm sure. Just in talking with some of the parents and the students over the year, I know that they've gone through a lot. I've had parents tell me, look, Miss, you can keep calling me, but I have COVID, and the only thing I can do right now is keep my kids away from me. That's all I can do. So call me in a month. I'll see if I can, check in with you then. So they've been through a lot, for sure. I think when you see somebody change, when you see somebody do something different, when you connect with somebody, I have clients that I've worked with years ago that still periodically call me. It's good to hear. It's good to know that you've, helped change somebody's life, help move whatever roadblocks were in the way of them living a less conflicted life.